So this is the repair shopper system that uses that we use for everything that we do. I'm going to flip over to it here. So any of the links in the top section here, we'll normally have it bookmarked in all our Chrome browsers. It must be used in Chrome, and we must onboard you onto the system. So we give you a user account and a login and a password. This is the main screen. It's a system that everything we do relies upon. All our invoices, our till, our inventory, our marketing, our communication even, reports, sales, and of course, most importantly, the ticketing system for our repairs. Now, it's a cloud-based system, as you can see, and this is the main screen. So anytime you click up here, it'll take you back to this screen, and most of the links up here will take you back here. What you'll see is links across the top, and they always remain there. This, as you can see, it's quite self-explanatory, is customers. Every single person who comes in to buy a laptop or to book in a repair, or even to book in something small or an appointment for a call out or a training session, the focus is to get people onboarded here. Every customer must have an email address and a mobile phone number. And of course, you must be careful to spell their name correctly as well. The more customers we have on our system, the more people we can target if we want to market. The more people, when they come back, they'll be easily entered. And when they're tracked in terms of the repairs they do, we'll be able to contact them more easily. Smaller items, obviously, we just take through the normal till system. I'll show you that in a moment. Invoices are pretty much everything. But obviously they're branch based, and we can add invoices to a customer, and we can pay them, obviously, mark them paid, and they can be outstanding and we can chase them up. Estimates are very important. That again can be tagged to a customer. Everything we do is built around that customer database. An estimate is a great way of telling a customer we can do that laptop for $399 and sending them details on that to their email. The nice thing about the estimates as well is that a week later it will remind them and say, listen, that laptop that we talked about, are you still interested in that estimate? If we're sending an estimate on recommendations for a call out or what we must do to repair something, the estimate module is absolutely fantastic. And you should be thinking, when you're talking to someone about something and they're not buying straight away, send them an estimate. It'll give you a better chance of getting that customer back. Tickets, obviously, are all our tickets. In this case, we're in Ainger Street at the moment. I'll show you that in a second. But the tickets are the list of all. A ticket is a live case, something that we've taken in for repair, or something that we've to do, a job effectively. Anything from an iPhone that's to be repaired to a call out that's to be booked. Printer and laptop setup there, you can see. They have different statuses, and generally in this ticketing view you only see live tickets. You can see there's 59 live tickets there at the moment. Once they are completed and resolved, they'll disappear from this list. We can still find them, of course, but they don't stay in the live list. Logistics is the movement of tickets between branches. It's quite straightforward to do. Within each ticket there's a transfer ticket button, and we can transfer that to any branch. It must be done correctly. So say we take Richard McNamara's here. We could transfer the ticket and it'll ask us to which branch. We can go into logistics and we must check out. See this little blue icon is the next step. Check it out of the branch. And then when we go to the other branch that we're sending it to, there will be, in that branch, there will be a blue check in button here. So very easy to use, but very easy to miss out on a point in it there. So remember, you transfer it from within the ticket. You've got to go to logistics to click checkout, and then to the location. When it's checked into the location, you check it in via a blue button that will appear there. Inventory is exactly as it sounds. Every product we stock is on the inventory. When we get new replenishment stock in, we just edit the quantities down the bottom here. So you'll see Bray has one of these, Donnybrook, Dunleary and Town don't. We can very easily edit these quantities here by just clicking in. We don't use the reorder and desired stock level because we have a relatively small amount of stock, and it's easier to manage if we're constantly aware of what we're selling, what we're running out of, what's popular. It's quite easy to do that and make a note on your diary as to what you need to reorder, rather than creating reports. Calendar is great. It's linked to our sales at Back from the Future system. We can see here appointments. So when we're booking call outs, it's much easier to see exactly what's going on and exactly what appointments we've got. Point of sale is exactly that. Now it's closed at the moment, but it's very, very easy to use. We open it in the morning with exactly what's in the till, i.e. the float, the amount of 50s, the amount of 20s, and etc. for all the other denominations. I'll go back to that later. Leads is a way of when people through the website want to make a query, it comes in to leads. There's lots of little features on Repair Shopper as regards setting up lead generators. We don't use a massive amount of them because we believe in obviously taking every phone call, in chasing every customer who has a need, and in sending estimates out, which is also a way of creating leads. Marketer is a clever facility. Again, won't go into it now, but it's back to my point about having customers on the database. We can send an email, a blast email out to all our customers, and there's about 3,500 now, so you can imagine it's quite a powerful marketing force. Reports are something that managers do to see exactly what the profit and loss was in a week, what the invoices are, what the productivity are, and at different levels, as I say, at management level, they have the ability to see all the details of every transaction and every ticket, and timed, and just the performance of the company and the heartbeat of the company as a whole. Now, back to the main screen, and you'll see down here you've got simple buttons for a new customer, a new ticket, a new check-in, a new invoice, and a new estimate. Now, typically we use new customer and new ticket the most. Check-in is the same as new ticket, except typically for devices. Again, we don't use it very often. We use new ticket for devices. New ticket for everything we take in, everything we book, every new job we take on. Over here, you'll see a section for reminders. You can leave a reminder here for yourself, and you can literally add in a particular customer up here. Say, that's the customer, and we might say, please call him. Call. And we might make it for Marius. And we'll save that. And that goes into the reminders here. Again, you can do that between branches as well. That will come up when Marius signs into Repair Shopper. It'll come up on his screen and he'll know to ring the customer. Obviously, because the customer is listed there as well, we'll have their email address and their phone number and any notes on them as well. Very, very handy. Now we clear that when we don't need it. Up here is a very neat feature. This is the Google of Repair Shopper. You can search for customers, tickets via number. You can even search for particular types of machines. So Dell for DC Jack, for example, and it'll come up here. It's a very clever search facility. This is why also, and again a reminder that we need to get the spelling correct, because sometimes if you have someone come in and they're Peter O. Reardon, you have to try the different versions of spelling sometimes. But the point is that you can find customers by their phone number, email address, name, second name, even by their machine up there, or their ticket identity, their ticket number. Very, very handy feature there. We use it all day, every day. Very important section here. When you sign into Repair Shopper, you'll be asked what branch you're in. That is absolutely critical. If you do not sign into the correct branch, it's very easy to accidentally sign into somewhere you're not. So you're in Ainger Street and you check into Donnybrook. You won't see it, you'll just see it very discreetly up here, and you'll be taking for stuff, believe it or not, on the wrong till in a completely different location. So as you can see here, we can change to any of the locations. I'll go back into Ainger Street here. Always check, and no harm to check on a regular basis, that you are in the right space here, in the right location. You do have a very good help facility. Repair Shopper have their own knowledge base. When you want to find something out that you don't know how to do, you could ask anyone else, but you could also type in here. There's videos, there's blogs, and a searchable question database here as well. Very, very neat. Back to the main screen. Now I wanted to show you how to book a customer in. Now obviously people come in with laptops and devices and queries, and maybe they want training or whatever it might be. But it is always either new customer or new ticket. They're remarkably similar. When we create a new customer, we might say Daniel O'Donnell. And remember the spelling, very, very important to get that right, particularly with foreign names or names that you're not familiar with. And get the spelling right. Don't be afraid to ask a couple of times, or to ask a customer to type it in themselves. First name, second name. If it's a business name, that can go in here as well. But you must have a first and second name, and you can optionally have a business name here as well. You must then click Add Phone Number. It's always a mobile, and this is absolutely important. You can't take a landline. You can, but as a secondary issue. The first number and primary number must be mobile. So you'll put it in here, 087 321 654 98. 321 654 9. I'd say that might work. Now, email address. Again, if someone says, "Oh, I don't have an email address," you are going to have to set one up for them or something. They must have an email address, and of course everybody does nowadays. Daniel@daniel.ie we'll go with. Referred by is important. This allows us to track where our customers are coming from, and this is very, very, very beneficial when we're looking at where we're marketing, where our customers are coming from. You can see the different versions there. We'll just say that he's already regular. And we'll skip down to the bottom. Now again, you've got the Create Customer button, which just creates the customer, or Create Customer and Ticket. If you're booking in a case, then Create Customer and Ticket is what you'll click. When you click on Create Ticket, by the way, the new ticket option, you'll get the option to type in, hey Emer, you'll get the option to search for the customer and then create the ticket for that customer. But this is the normal route. Now you might say up here, and as you can see the example, you've got Dell with bad DC jack. It's a very brief description. The name of the machine, a Dell, a Sony, an Apple MacBook, whatever it might be, and 2 or 3 words on the problem. So we might go MacBook Pro, possible drive failure. We've got a number of options here. In that case, it'd be Apple hardware. Priority we tend to leave alone. It's defaulted to normal. Completion, this is, the description of the issue. This is very important. It is public, so be very careful and thorough about this. So Mac is not starting into OS. Just a question mark. Customer is in urgent need of his data. So anything you've discussed here, maybe their data is important, maybe I mentioned should be ready by Saturday or whatever, any other details there we said, but then remember that's public, so the customer will receive that by email, as you can see up there. Further down, we don't tend to use any of these, so I'll skip over them. I always click is work approved to proceed or is work pre-diagnosed. You can leave that off. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it changes the statuses and what's highlighted when we go into the ticket. Generally speaking, obviously we have a discussion with the customer, and we certainly we tend to agree to move forward on the repair and generally on the price, etc. Days estimated. This is important. We might have said we take 1 to 3 days on this. We might have said, well, we're really busy at the moment. This is going to take about 5 days, including the part. We might have said, look, we're going to turn this around really, really quickly for you. And this is important because if the customer says, well, you said you'd have it ready tomorrow, this gives us powerful information to say, well, actually, we said 3 days. The budget limit is again important. So that customer might have said, listen, it's an old machine. I'm not really prepared to spend that much on it. I don't know what's wrong with it. And we might say, well, okay, do you know what? We will endeavour to repair it up to a point. I tell you what, we'll set the budget limit at 150. Obviously, we can still go above that, but we'd have to call the customer. And that's really what the customer has approved. If we just go ahead and repair that machine and it's 150 or less, customer will be more than happy as long as that budget limit has been agreed and set in stone there. Password's important as well, so we'll always say what's the password to turn on the computer. So we might say none here. It's important to say something. It won't allow us to raise the ticket unless we ask that question and enter something there. We don't take power supplies or cases, but in some cases we might have to, because it's an unusual one that we don't have, or that the customer accidentally left it behind, or they've said, look, I really need you to take the case there because I don't want to carry it around town. So we might say we took a case there. Location and lab will be filled out later, and then we'll click on Create Ticket. Now you'll see this is the ticket screen, and this is the main layout. We've got down here the ticket information. It's currently new. This is the ticket number. This is its location, and we've got the creation date and time, and who created it, in this case Wesley. Remember I mentioned the transfer this ticket button. That's to transfer it to another branch. We've got the customer details here, phone number, email, name, and the fact that we can text them. Further down we've got the additional information section. I mentioned the location in the lab, days estimated, budget limit, password, etc. And further down, this is very, very important and a really clever feature of Repair Shopper, but important to know what you're doing. That is the comment. That is the side where the customer gets. So we might say, hey Daniel, your laptop needs a new drive. I would recommend an SSD for €190. We can get your data to at a price of €50 extra. And I might say send that. I might also write here, and you'll see it's yellow, that's private. So I might say data is already recovered, or customer is a little stressed, or I've already done this job and expect him to proceed. Tried to call him, but to no avail. Couldn't get him. So it's all private stuff, and it'll be highlighted in yellow below. So we don't read that out to a customer, that's all private. But we try to use public as much as possible. SSD installed. Data successfully retrieved. Sorry about my spelling, I'm just going fast. But those updates there will be emailed to them in this case, but if we change the context of that comment to completed, it'll actually be texted and emailed. So texts only follow for very for pertinent and important matters, so it could be for approval, diagnosis, or indeed completed. And we can see this timeline from the bottom of when he came in right the way up, and if we decide, okay, he's rung back, customer rang back, and he's okay to proceed with SSD and backup. This level of detail is sacrosanct. This gives us power. When there's a problem, when there's a discrepancy, when there's a customer who kind of denies going ahead with it or whatever, it also means that I can walk in, or any staff can walk in, and instantly be able to help customers rather than having to rely on memory. Someone's out on lunch, someone's off. So this detail is absolutely sacrosanct. Put in everything you have time to put in. Be short, use shorthand, make a spelling mistake if you have to, but main thing is to get the detail in there. It's automatically time-stamped. Now we might say, okay, we've finished this job, we've tested it, and we're now going to charge them for it. So we'll click this button up here to make the invoice. I should have said, and I've mistakenly left it out, but in the case of this customer booking in a machine, on new bookings we tend to take a deposit. And in this case, we'll see it up here. We'll see lots of options. We'll see take a deposit here, add an attachment. We can add photos. We can delete it if we need to. We can also get PDFs of the receipts and the different labels. We can even print a ticket label, which of course is the label that comes out to stick onto the machine. A customer label, which is an identity label, again on the Dymo label system. Or we can, in this case, take a deposit. We're going to go backwards a little bit. We're going to take a €50 deposit from the customer. That's what we tend to do on a new book-in. We won't do it in this case because the till is actually closed at this time, so it won't let us. But that's the button you press there, or you can select another amount. But €50 is generally what we charge on book-in once we've had a look at the machine and given it an assessment. Let's just step back there to the ticket. And we're going to make an invoice now. Now this is an important screen and you'll see a lot of it. Again, you'll see the customer details, when it was created, etc. And we have the option to either add something from our inventory or add a manual item. Now in the case of a repair, it's typically a manual item. We'll select lab service because that's what it is. We'll call it what it is, which is an SSD and reinstall 120 gig with data recovery. You don't have to it doesn't have to be the exact same terminology as that once it's clear. We also need to know the cost of that. So if you're not sure, ask a colleague. As it happens, a 120 gig solid state is costing us 55 at the moment. The finished price, and that of course is including VAT. The cost price is not including VAT. That is how retail prices are conveyed and quoted and discussed. A retail price is including VAT and a cost price is excluding VAT. So we'll say it's it was 190 plus 50, so it's 240 down here. And we're happy with that. And we'll go back into the ticket. There's the link ticket. We'll see that it's actually been invoiced, and we'll send them a text, a completed text. We need to change the context. We have some canned responses here, so we can actually say, well, it's all done, you're cleaned up and you're ready to go. We've got a little opening hours in there as well. We'll send that across, and finally what we need to do is put the machine in plastic wrapping, nice and clean and finished. And we're going to put it into a section in the completed section, and we use CS, it could be F4, and you'll see that around the lab every collection shelf is labelled, and we'll put it in CS F4, and we can go back to our main screen there. Now that customer then gets a text, they've got their invoice there and everything, and we can then, he comes in tomorrow and we say, oh hey, how are you? And it's someone totally different. And Daniel says, hey, I'm here to collect my laptop. So it could be me booking it in, and then Wesley's there the next day, I'm off. So Wesley go, oh, what's your name, sir? Daniel O'Donnell. Okay. And as you type here, you'll see lots of options coming up. The customer Daniel O'Donnell, we go to the customer Daniel O'Donnell, that's the easiest one. You see this is the customer page, and this is the standard customer page. It gives us lots of information about how much they owe, how many invoices they have, if they have a credit balance. We can do a statement for them. There's a communication log. here. There's reminders. There is their tickets, as I mentioned, the MacBook Pro, estimates that we've created for them. As you can see, if they're a business customer or if they're a regular customer, this will be populated with more tickets and more invoices and more payments and whatnot. This is one we've just set up, obviously, so there's not much there. But it gives us a really good overview of that customer. So in this case, we're going to click into their ticket. And we're going to say, yes, Daniel, it is finished. Invoiced means finished and invoiced and ready for paying and collecting. And Daniel says, great, well, what did you do? Okay, well, of course it wasn't starting now. As you know, we were going for an SSD and data backup. We did all that. Data recovered. Don't worry, Daniel. It all went very, very well. We got a full recovery, and we got it done really quickly as well. So great news there, and here it is, nice and clean and ready for you. You're going to really love that. It's much faster than it ever was because the solid state drive, blah blah blah. We can see where it is. It's in F4, so we'll go and grab it, and then we can see his invoice that isn't paid yet. And what we'll do is we just click the take payment button up here. Again, I won't do it right now because the till is actually closed, but when we click take payment, it'll go into effectively what is the till system and allow us to take cash or credit card or check or whatever and put it into the till and register it. This will then be marked paid, and the system will then say that the ticket is still open. Would you like to resolve it? Now, resolved means it's collected and paid for. So you, of course, say yes because the customer has paid and is collecting it, and that closes off the ticket so it doesn't anymore appear in the ticket list, and it's as simple as that. We'll go out of that, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to delete that invoice again because we don't need it. It's just a fake. I'll also delete that ticket as well, and again, very, very easy to find through here. And that's the end of lesson 1 on Repair Shopper. Main points: remember how to book in a customer. Remember to take your time and be precise about the email address, the spelling of the name, and the phone number. If you get any of those wrong, it does cause awful grief. Putting updates on the ticket, very important as well. Don't be afraid to put too much. Of course, time is always a constraint, but you need to put in the essentials and put in as much as possible on the ticket. That remains forevermore, and it gives us great information if something goes wrong with that repair further down the line, or if we need to do a rework.